Yeah, if you ain't talking about that large money, then that conversation ain't at all for me. Too many niggas satisfied with just call money. A new chain, couple bottles at the bar money. We need that. 2 acres for the yard money. Diversified portfolios and bond money. Pull a few strings, that guitar money. Try to run up on me? Nah, money. Getting at it from the AM to the PM. Smooth fat boy, that's a door by your BM. They love it when they see him. We still in the hood, but we on top like the alternators in the GMs. You feeling this?
You were tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. Now, we seen Terence Crawford and Errol Spence in the building at the same time at the Virgil Ortiz versus Maurice Hooker fight. We all know Maurice Hooker fights out of that Terence Crawford gym. That fight went down in Texas, so you know Errol Spence was going to be there. And whenever you got Terence Crawford and Errol Spence in the building at the same time, of course, people are going to ask, hey, when is that fight going to happen? We need that fight. That's the biggest fight in the sport outside of possibly AJ Fury or a Fury Wilder 3. That's one of the top 3 fights in the sport that people want. And Terence Crawford came out and said that he's done with it. He's done with it. Like, he's past the Errol Spence talk. He's past the Errol Spence fight. It's not happening. And then he turned around and did an actual podcast, and they asked him if Spence and his team came to him and said, hey, listen, let's do 50-50. Would you take the fight? And Terence Crawford still was like, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he capping with that. Like, they came to him with 50-50. He's definitely taking that fight because he feel like he can beat Errol Spence. So I think he would definitely take that fight. But that's what Terence Crawford said. And if that's the case, if he's going to stand by his word, then you got to think about Terence Crawford's boxing life without a Errol Spence fight. Like, that's a unification fight. That's a undisputed fight. That's a pound for pound legacy type fight. That's a historical fight. If that fight's not happening, then you got to figure what is Terence Crawford's boxing life without that fight. And the answer to that for me doesn't change. His contract with Bob Arum and Top Rank is up, I think, October of this year. So that's the most important thing that Terence Crawford is going to have to decide on. What am I going to do from a promotional standpoint? If Terence Crawford re-signs with Top Rank and Bob Arum, then he can't complain about getting opponents. He can't complain about getting opponents because if he re-signs with Top Rank and Bob Arum, they don't have anything to offer him at 147. They don't have anything to offer him at 154. All of the action at 147 and 154 is on the PBC side of the street, is on the Al Heyman side of the street. So the last thing that I want to see him do to survive his upcoming 2-3 years is a re-sign with Bob Arum and Top Rank. And that's no disrespect to Bob Arum and Top Rank. No disrespect at all. But you got to go where the work is. You know what I'm saying? You got to go where the work is. You got to go where the action at. You know what I mean? If this is a casino, like the Top Rank table was ice cold when it comes down to 147, 154. You got to go to a crap table where it's hot. You know what I mean? Where all the action at, where the money moving. That's PBC. That's PBC. And that's whether you a Al Heyman fan or not, whether you a PBC fan or not. When it comes down to 147, 154, that's where the action is. So whether Terence Crawford, doesn't sign a long-term deal with a promotional company and he just does one-fight deals to keep himself, a free agent, then I'm cool with that. Anything but signing a contract with Top Rank, like anything but him re-ing up with Top Rank, I'm cool with it. I'm definitely cool with it. But Terence Crawford at this point, I could see him going to 154. I would love to see him fight a Jermell Charlo. Like, that'd be great. I would love to see him fight a Jared Swift Hurd or Tony Harrison. You know, those would be great fights. Terence Crawford and a J-Rock. That's a good fight. Real good fight. And then obviously we know what's at 147. To be honest with you, anything outside of an Errol Spence fight at 147, I don't even want to see it with Terence Crawford. I don't even want to see it. Like, I don't want to see Terence Crawford, Sean Porter. Because he's not going to get credit. He's not going to get credit. Once he beats Sean Porter, then people are going to say, oh, that's Errol Spence leftovers. We know how that's going to go. I don't want to see him fight Danny Garcia, because if he beat Danny Garcia, they're going to be like, oh, well, that's Errol Spence leftovers. If he fights Keith Thurman, they're going to be like, yo, Keith Thurman name ice cold. He don't fight enough. He's always injured. Like, he's not going to get credit for Ugas win. Like, the only fight he'll get real credit for is a Boots in this fight. But even then, people will be like, Boots wasn't ready. And then that fight doesn't even make sense for Terence Crawford to take. It's too much risk, not enough reward. So if Terence Crawford not fighting Errol Spence at 147, I don't care what he does at 147. Like, it's not going to matter to me. Like, he should just move up to 154 and just continue to build on his boxing legacy. If he could beat a Jamel Charlo and win a title at another weight class, like, that'd be insane. That'd be insane for his legacy. Like, I think Terence Crawford is a Hall of Famer right now. Right now, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, he retires today, he goes in the Hall of Fame. He goes in the Hall of Fame. Like, there's no doubt about it in my mind. But Terence Crawford probably has a good 3-year run, possibly 4-year run, where he can really cement his legacy. He can really, really cement his legacy. And as much as we would like to see Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, as long as Errol Spence is on this 70-30, 80-20 type shit and you know, playing that A-side card to the ground, then, you know, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I understand it from a business perspective. Like, let's not get it twisted. I understand it from a business perspective. And I always say a fool is a person that has leverage and don't use it. So Errol Spence is doing what he's supposed to be doing, but I just find it ironic that he's doing it when he's had so much hatred towards Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman did the same thing to him when Spence was on the come up. He had so much hatred towards Danny Garcia because Danny Garcia did the same thing to him when he was young and on the come up. He had so much, you know, hatred towards Kell Brook because he was doing a lot of different things to delay the fight. Like, Manny Pacquiao was played that A-side card with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would figure that Errol Spence would be the guy to kind of go against the trend and just go get the biggest fights done, because he didn't want to do to other people what other people did to him when he was young and he was on the come up. But as you can see, he's just following the trend just like any other big time prize fighter. They playing the A-side card, and that's just what it is. But I think there's a lot of action for Terence Crawford. I just don't want to see him signing with Top Rank or Bob Arum after October. If he doesn't sign with them, then the future is bright in terms of opponents for Terence Crawford. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.